and welcome to another video. As promised, we're going to cover 5 long-lasting summer fragrances from the niche side of things. If you have not seen it, go check out my designer video. That's the same video of this, but essentially I just covered designer fragrances in that video. In this video, I'm giving you 5 fragrances that are from the niche side, or for those of you who are not familiar with that term, the more exclusive, a little bit more expensive generally, fragrances, and may not be as well known. They're not from designer houses or mainstream, if you will. They're a little bit on the outside. So with that said, I just want to go ahead and dive straight into it. Now again, this is not in any particular order. I'm just giving you 5 fragrances out there. There are plenty of fragrances out there that last a long time that are geared for the summer from the niche side, especially on the niche side, just because they generally tend to use a lot more concentration in their fragrances. Once you start getting up there, you can start being a little bit more creative, and you generally tend to get a lot better performance. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into it. Now, starting off with the very first fragrance I'm going to go ahead and mention is from the house of Creed. The fragrance we're talking about is called Aventus. Now, Aventus is no stranger to many people. In fact, I personally think it's probably one of the most favorite fragrances that are out there. It's pretty expensive in terms of its cost. It's going to run you roughly $400 or so for a decent sized bottle. But at the same time, this is a fragrance that will last on your skin. It's pineapple, it's apple, it's woods. It's actually a great smelling scent. Personally, I've had more success. I've had more men tell me that I smell great than women when I'm wearing this fragrance, but to each his own. This is Creed in general has a lot of scents that they go out, and I personally think they do summer fragrances really well. The one thing with Creed though is their fragrances generally tend not to last that long on one skin. Aventus is really one of the major exceptions to that rule, and it lasts a long time on your skin. So the first fragrance is Creed at number 5. Now the next fragrance I'm going to go ahead and mention is one that you probably have not heard me talk about, but has been on my radar just because I have been really impressed with how well it's done. It's from the house of Acqua di Parma. We're talking about Colonia Essenza. Now Colonia Essenza is one of the more recent fragrances that I've been turned onto it. It's a beautiful neroli citrus type of a scent that lasts a good long time on your skin. Now most neroli fragrances for me generally tend to get pretty soapy, but this doesn't really do that. This lasts easily 10 plus hours on my skin. It remains citrusy throughout most of the fragrance, and in general the Acqua di Parma house has a lot of fragrances, or a good number of fragrances, that are really suited towards summer, but I personally find this one to be the longest lasting of that summer-ish kind of quality for me. Alright, so that's right, Colonia Essenza from the house of Acqua di Parma. Now, the next one is from the house of Xerjoff. This fragrance is called Neo. Now, Neo was heavily hyped up back when it sort of fell off the radar, but I don't think it's fell off the radar because it's any worse or anything like that. In general, it's just a restrictive fragrance because it is a little bit more expensive to purchase on that end. But this is a absolutely beautiful citrus. It is a citrus that lasts a good long time on your skin. We're talking about 12 plus hours, which is really freaking impressive. It's a citrus that does not turn into a woodsy kind of amalgam thing kind of going on that a lot of citruses do. This remains citrusy throughout the entire fragrance, and it does it really well. So Neo from the house of Xerjoff. It may be a little bit difficult for you to go ahead and purchase, but I would recommend going on the Xerjoff site or some other authorized retailers like Lucky Scent. I believe Lucky Scent has it. I'm not positive, but they're usually a good place to go ahead and check out niche fragrances that you want, that are real and the real deal. All right. So Neo from the house of Xerjoff. Now the next one on the list, coming in at number 2, again, no particular order, is one of my favorite, if not my favorite fragrance, period. It's from the house of Le Labo. We're talking about Bergamot 22. Now, Bergamot 22, this is, to me, the most perfect bergamot. I love the sour orangey type smell that you get from this scent. It dries down and has a beautiful cedar scent in it. Bergamot and cedar together, mixed, they're absolutely fantastic, and I love it. It's a scent that almost consistently comes in #1 for my niche list in the summer, and I don't see that changing this year, so spoiler there. When I release my summer niche list, I absolutely love the scent, or is it actually going to be #1? Anyways, whatever. It's a fantastic scent in that regard, but it is another expensive fragrance. All of these fragrances are on the expensive side. I don't know why I keep saying that. But yes, it's citrus and it dries down. The citrus is still there while it kind of dries down, but it dries down to this really nice cedary, woodsy type smell with hints of citrus in it. And again, best part, it lasts a good amount of time on your skin. We're talking about, for me, we're talking about 12 plus easily. All right, so an absolute monster on that. So Bergamot 22. Now the last fragrance, or the #1 fragrance we're going to go ahead and mention, is one from the house of Byredo. We're talking about Pulp. Now Byredo Pulp, this is arguably one of the strongest scents that I would consider wearing for the summer. It is a monster in terms of its longevity. It is no joke. It lasts a good amount of time on your skin. It is, it's got the projection, it's got the power, and at the same time, it's still, to me, got the DNA of a summer fragrance. It's reasonably priced. I mean, it's still on the high end, but it's there. Byredo Pulp is definitely something that you should check out if you have not. Pulp and Bal d'Afrique are two fragrances from the house of Byredo that I personally really love, and they're both really good for the summer, but Pulp really just blows anything else out of the way in terms of its performance, in terms of that long-lasting summer scent. So Pulp is there rounding out the list of 5. Now again, there are so many fragrances from the niche lines that will fit the criteria of a long-lasting fragrance. I've literally just given you a drop in the water. If you have any suggestions for fragrances that you know on the niche side that will last a long time, leave it down below. Help people out so they can, kind of get a scent or, get an idea of it. Many of the Bond #9 fragrances, they last a good amount of time. Again, Acqua di Parma lasts a good amount of time. Creed, not so much. Outside of Aventus, I wouldn't really give them my stamp of you guys last a long time. But yes, there's plenty of houses that you can go off. Xerjoff, their fragrances generally tend to last a good amount of time. Parfum de Marly, they tend to last a long amount of time. Look around. You're going to find a ton of houses that do this really well. So I've just touched upon a blip of it. I like the Maison Francis, the MFK fragrances. They last a good amount of time on my skin. So many. All right. So again, leave your notes down below for people to help out. All right. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys. Take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.